How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, go down and subscribe to the channel before we get started into this video. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to drive manual. Of course, I have 3 manual cars currently. My first video on this channel was actually a how to drive manual video. I'm pretty sure I took the video down because I always wanted to redo it better because it was my first video. It was a very long time ago. But let's go take out one of the cars and teach you guys how to drive manual for beginners, walk you through every step, what everything is. So today's car of choice is going to be the Mustang. So now that we have found ourselves an empty parking lot, let's talk about the differences between an automatic and a manual. So the main difference is there's going to be an additional pedal and you have to shift your own gears. When driving a manual, you are going and rowing your own gears. So instead of going from park to drive, you're going from neutral to first gear. Neutral is in between all of the gears. As you can see, this flat line here is neutral. If you want to check if you're neutral, you can check it left to right and you'll know you're neutral. First, second, third, fourth, and then fifth is up to the side. And then to go into reverse, every car is going to be a little bit different. In the Ford products, you lift this up, go up and to the left, and that is reverse. Some cars you're going to have to push down, some cars you're just going to have to pull really hard. And then down here we have ourselves an extra pedal. The gas and the brake are still on the same side, so you still have the gas on the very right and the brake is now in the middle. This new pedal is the clutch. We use the clutch every time we change gears. That's kind of the easiest way I'm going to explain it. And then the last thing is the parking brake. So the handbrake, parking brake, e-brake, whatever you want to call it. So this is now how you park the car. I'm going to teach you how to park the car before we even get started. So to park the car, you push the brake in, you lift the handbrake up, and now you are in park. You can let off the brake. But I would suggest you always park your car in gear. Always put the handbrake before you put your car in gear, so that way if the park brake fails, it can go into gear and not the other way around. Before we start the car, let's talk about the pedals. You're still operating your throttle and your brake with your right foot. In a manual car, you use your left foot. You use it for the clutch. In normal driving, you're never going to use your left foot on the brake, and you're never ever going to use your right foot on the clutch. So now that we have that out of the way, push the clutch in, put your car into neutral. Now what you're going to do is you're going to start the car, either push to start, or you're going to turn the key and crank it. Now that your car is on, make sure you have your foot on the brake and the handbrake down. So what I'm going to do right here is fire the car up. The hardest part of driving manual is getting the car rolling. So we're going to put our car into first with having our clutch in. I still have not lifted my foot off the clutch or the brake. Now what I'm going to do is lift my foot off of the brake. I'm going to slowly roll my foot off of the clutch. Right there you can hear the car. The reason I picked this car is because you can hear this car because of the exhaust. You can hear the car. I haven't touched the gas. That's just me rolling off the clutch. So I roll off the clutch. You can hear the car starting to engage. We are slowly rolling. I push the clutch in, you can hear the RPMs go back to idle, but roll off of that clutch and apply a little bit of gas and slowly continue rolling off of the clutch. And just like that, you have got your car rolling. And that's as simple as it is. So to come to a stop, we're going to push the clutch in and brake. You might stall the car the first couple times you try to leave first gear. We're going to leave the car in first, and we're going to try that again. Just roll off the clutch. You hear the car start to engage, and then you slowly roll a little onto the throttle and continue to roll off that clutch. Nice and smooth. The tip to driving manual is to go nice and slow and easy. You're manipulating the throttle and you're manipulating the clutch, and you want to be smooth when you're rolling off of the clutch, and you want to be smooth when you're rolling onto the throttle. When you release the clutch, the car will start to go forward without any gas. When you get to the point where you start to roll forward a little bit, roll onto the throttle just a tad, but do not let go of the clutch all the way. You want to continue slowly letting off of the clutch until you feel the car fully in motion. What I see happening a lot with manual drivers, people learning to drive, and even when I first started driving, is you start to roll off of the clutch and you get your car moving, and then you just let off of the clutch all the way. You never want to just let off of the clutch until you feel the car fully in motion. It takes practice. The easiest way to drive a manual car, the fastest way to learn a manual car is to, once you know the basics, get behind the wheel and just drive. Practice getting out of first gear, practice with the clutch, and practice just making the car go from a standstill to 5 miles per hour, stop the car, and continue doing that on an empty parking lot. And once you get the hang of the clutch, take it to the streets. But let's talk about putting your car and going anywhere faster than first gear. So we are going to go onto some closed roads. We're going to go and slowly just roll off that clutch off of first gear and accelerate a little bit. The proper time to shift for normal driving is around 2,500 RPM to 3,000 RPM, which is right there. You'll see the RPM gauge. Once you get to about 25 or 3,000, that's a good time to shift. So the way to shift from first to second, very easy and very simple. Let me walk you through it. So we have got some RPM. We're gonna clutch in and throw the car down into the gear. Now let me do that one more time for you. We're gonna go from second to third now. So we're gonna push the clutch in, and we're gonna go from second to third and let off of the clutch as soon as we are in gear. And that's the basics to accelerating and driving manual. Now, let me tell you one more thing before we end this video of how to stop when you're driving a manual car and what you do. Do you push the clutch in? Do you put it in neutral? Or what's going on? So let me explain that real quick. So you're driving, you're going about 20 miles per hour, you're in second gear here, and you don't know what to do. You're gonna push your clutch in, and now your car's in neutral, and you're just going to stop. You're gonna push the brake and come to a complete stop. That is the easiest way to stop in a manual car. There are more advanced techniques into stopping a manual car, but the easiest way to do it is to push the clutch in and come to a complete stop. You're gonna push the clutch in and you're gonna come to the stop. Once you're at a stop, put your car into neutral and first gear. That way you can roll off the clutch, roll back onto the throttle, and accelerate. Driving manual is very easy. The best way to get good at driving manual is to hop into a manual car, experience it for yourself, and you'll slowly start to understand the principles that I've told in this video. The car tells you everything. If you let off the clutch too fast, most likely the car will stall. That car is telling you that it needs to have a smoother release of the clutch and more throttle. If the car starts to stutter while you're accelerating from a standstill, you need to apply a little bit more throttle, or you need to roll off the clutch a little more smoothly. It's really simple, easy, and honestly not too hard. Driving manual is something that comes with experience, but in order to get that experience, you need to know some of the basics. Downshifting is an advanced technique that I can teach in a different video if you guys would be interested. It is not something that a beginner really needs right off the bat. If this video helped, do me a huge favor, go down and subscribe, leave a like on this video. I'd greatly appreciate that. That's all I have for this one though, and I'll see you guys in the next video.